John chapter 5. After this, there was a Jewish festival, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In Jerusalem, near the sheep gate in the north city wall, is a pool with the Aramaic name Bethsaida. It had 5 covered porches, obviously an Asclepion, and a crowd of people who were sick, blind, lame, and paralyzed sat there. Now, y'all, here's the ancient site of Bethsaida. It's on the screen, I think. Bethsaida. There's Bethsaida. Now, I had the opportunity to go there a couple times, actually, and just the last time was a few years ago. And I tried to circle it in red for y'all. That would have been a pool at the Asclepion. Now, so don't think of like an Olympic-sized pool here, but very small pools of water. Now, here's a modern-day depiction of Bethsaida and how the pool might have looked. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Crowds of people, blind, lame, sick, paralyzed. By the way, these aren't random categories in the ancient world. These are all people who would have been rejects. They would have been nobodies. They would have been kicked out of the community. They would have been pushed to the margins of society. And here they are gathered around a pool. Why? Because they're waiting for Asclepius to stir the waters. Why? So that they could jump in these waters and be one of the first ones to jump in and beg for healing and mercy. A couple more verses. This gets fascinating. A certain man was there who had been sick for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there, knowing that he had already been there for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to be made well?" Now, y'all, let's just pause for just a moment. This man is probably a bit hopeless. He has been sitting at the same pool for 38 years and nothing new has happened. And he would have been the reject, the nobody, the one who was pushed out, the one who no one wanted to touch, the one who no one wanted to be around. And notice Jesus' question to him. It wasn't, "Hey, what's your ailment? You want me to fix you?" A far better, deeper question. Do you want to be made well? Next verse. The sick man answered him, "Sir, I don't have anyone who can put me in the water when it's stirred up. When I'm trying to get to it, someone else has gotten in ahead of me." And Jesus said to him, "Screw your excuses. Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." I added the "screw your excuses" part. That's not actually in the Bible. Immediately, the man was well, and he picked up his mat and walked. And y'all, can you imagine the conversation between Jesus and this man? "Well, yeah, Jesus, I mean, you got to know, I want to be well, but every time I try to get in the waters when it gets stirred up, I don't have anyone to dip me in. No one's letting me in, and they're all getting in ahead of me." Oh, that's right. That's right. You're waiting for Asclepius to show you some mercy. You're waiting for Asclepius to stir the waters so that something might happen. And y'all remember this. The life, the teachings, the ministry, the actions, the words of Jesus always point to who God is. Can you imagine Jesus saying to this man, "Seriously? You have to do something for this God to act, and if you can't do something, this God won't act in your behalf?" So terror. You call him Savior. I mean, what kind of Savior is this? Let me tell you about a different kind of God. This God is already on your side. This God is already giving you mercy. There's nothing more you can do to get more mercy because that mercy is already yours. Now pick up your mat and walk. This God isn't about curing, by the way. This God is about restoring creation to order. And this God is always about creating new life right here in the midst of old life. And Jesus says to him, "Look, man, I'm offering you restoration. I'm offering you new life. Do you want it?" And the man's resistant, isn't he? And I think I get it. And maybe you get it too. If you were sitting at the same pool for 38 years and nothing new ever happened, wouldn't you be a bit resistant too? I mean, wouldn't you be lacking a bit of hope as well? He just wants to be cured. He wants to be fixed. Have you ever felt that? I don't want to do all that stuff. I just want to be cured. I want things to be different. I mean, does he even have the categories to understand what being made well is? Being made well, what in the heck is that? I mean, is there even a way out of this mess? He can't even imagine a different way of life. And y'all, the truth is, some of you are no different from this man. You've been stuck in your addiction for years and you can't imagine a way out of this mess. Or you've been watching someone that you love stuck in their addiction for years, and if you're honest, you've lost hope, haven't you? You don't have any hope left. You can't imagine a way out of this mess. And when it comes to your very being, the core of who you are, you feel rejected. You feel like an outcast. You feel like you're not part of things, and you just want life to be different. You know, I didn't know I was unwell. I didn't have those categories when I first decided to stop drinking, to put down the bottle, and went into recovery meetings. I didn't know I was unwell. I thought the problem was I need to learn how to not drink because drinking is a problem. And maybe y'all can teach me either how to not drink, or you can teach me how to drink with some control, some moderation. That was my goal. On Christmas Day of 2012, on that night when my sister told me on her front porch that, Ryan, I don't want you coming around anymore. I don't want my kids to see you this way. I didn't know I was unwell. I thought the problem was just with drinking. All I know is what it felt like was I just wanted the pain to stop. And it's real interesting, isn't it? Because Jesus never asked that man, hey, you want all the pain to go away? Do you want to not feel anymore? Count me in for that. Yeah, Jesus, that's what I want. He asked a far better, deeper question. Do you want to be made well? And man, I was just like that guy at the pool. Asclepius, just fix me, man. Just anything to cure this. Anything to find the cure. And by the way, I had 1,000 excuses just like this man. Oh, no one will put me in the water. I can't go because no one's going to help me in when the water starts to stir. I would be sitting, y'all, early in recovery, be sitting in these 12-step meetings, and I had all kinds of excuses why I shouldn't be here. Man, these people are like lowlifes. Look I shouldn't be here. I'm a pastor. I'm up here. I've studied the God stuff. I've studied the scriptures. I've studied religion. I should be able to beat this thing. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but I shouldn't be here. So I built up all these excuses, and maybe you've built up 1,000 excuses about why you should stay unwell, especially during the holidays, because it's hard, isn't it? You deserve it. You deserve to stay a bit unwell. And so you've isolated yourself. You've disconnected. Maybe even you being here tonight, or if you're tuning in later in the week, it's like the last glimmer of hope for you of just barely hanging on, and you tell yourself that you're not worthy of healthy relationships in your life. So you keep running to the most unhealthy things and people. And by the way, that language of take up your mat and walk, it is symbolic language of having new life, of being restored back into the community. So Jesus is saying this to this man, you can be restored back into the community. You can have new life, but you gotta pick up your mat and take some steps. You gotta begin walking. So where does all of this leave us? With staying sober and serene during the holidays. Where's the hope? You know, maybe the real hope is found when we go deeper into our, not hope, but hopelessness. And it's interesting, did you know, in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, some of you are familiar with this book. It's a thick blue book. In the big book, the word hope is mentioned 148 times. Do you think the founders thought hope was important? Think they knew something about hope? Hold on, I'm not there yet. I'll get there in a minute though. But before they talked about hope, so if you read the first early pages, it's the first chapter is called Bill's story. If you read the first pages, they talk not about hope, but about hopelessness. And he tells his story. He says, man, I thought I had a handle on it. And I thought I was strong, and then I wouldn't drink until the next morning. And I showed up drunk again. Or I showed up drunk again to the house that night. And I showed up drunk again to my wife. And he said nothing was working. It was this absolute state of hopelessness. And he says this on page 6. The remorse, horror, and hopelessness of the next morning are unforgettable. How many of y'all can identify with that? The remorse, the horror, the hopelessness of the next morning, and the courage to do battle was not there. The giving up had to happen before Bill got well. And it's true, isn't it? We have to surrender to win. We have to suffer to get well. Recognize your hopelessness. Because maybe like Bill and like the man sitting by the pool for 38 years, the courage to do battle isn't there. You've lost it. Too much hopelessness. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Don't run from that. But you do need to know God has never given up on you, at least in my experience, and God doesn't plan on giving up on you. You might have given up, but God doesn't give up. Where's the hope? Do you want to be made well? It is that persistent, relentless voice that keeps asking us that question. Do you want to be made well? Do you want to be made well? Do you want to be made well? Name your hopelessness. Name it. You're stuck? Of course you're stuck. You've been stuck for years. You don't know what it's like to be unstuck. You keep doing the same old, and nothing is working. Do you want to be made well? Well, then pick up your mat and walk. And by the way, it's not about doing something to get God on your side. God's already there. You can't get God on your side anymore. But you need to know this. God will not force you into a relationship. God will never do the forcing. Because even with this God stuff, it takes two to tango. It's a collaborative relationship, a cooperative relationship. We work together. But you want to be made well, pick up your mat and walk. What's it mean? Reach out to someone. Reach out to someone, name your hopelessness, and in my experience, this is holy, sacred work. And when we do this work, at least in my experience, you will encounter God and healing right there in that moment and in that place. I'll close with this, because there's one other really important part of the story that I think we can miss if we read too quickly. You know, Jesus notices the people that we often miss or simply turn away from. You know, think about this guy sitting by this pool for 38 years. I mean, people were probably tired of seeing him. People were probably literally stepping on him. People were probably literally tripping over him. People may have been so frustrated because here this guy is and nothing's ever changing with him. The situation isn't changing. There is no healing. And you know, some people would simply turn away from him. And my brothers and sisters, it raises a good question for us, doesn't it? Who are the addicts? The loved ones of addicts, the spiritual refugees in our midst that we have stopped noticing, or worse, that we have turned away from. And maybe Jesus is saying like, yo, they're right over here. Here's another one right here. Here they are right here. We keep missing them. Because if you don't know yet, we get to be the hope. When we go into our hopelessness, we get to then be hope for the outcasts, the rejects, those who have been pushed to the side, those who have been told they're not wanted. We actually get to be God's hope in the world. So here's the deal. I want you all to take just a minute. What is it, 2 minutes, Danny?
2 minutes. Yeah.
Take 2 minutes. And what I want to do each of these 4 weeks in Advent leading up to Christmas is take 2 minutes and give us your tools or your practices that help keep you sober and serene during this holiday season. And if you're not there, you can give us the... Danny, I forget the second question we were asking. What's the second question that's going to be on the screen? It's going to be on the screen soon. How about that? Take 2 minutes, reflect, give us your comments down in the comments section, and then we'll come back.
Christmas time, Christmas Day. Grab your friends, come on, let's play. Grab some tinsel, grab some holly. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Make this year a special one. Memories with those you love, come have fun with us. It's Christmas. Christmas skies and Christmas snow. Stay warm by the mistletoe. Lots of food and lots of treats. Carolers who sing so sweet. Make this year a special one. Memories with those you love, come have fun with us. It's Christmas. Make this year a special one. Memories with those you love, come have fun with us. It's Christmas. Make this year a special one. Memories with those you love, come have fun with us. It's Christmas.
All right, y'all, we're going to read a couple of your comments on the screen. Let's throw them on the screen and I'll read them. You got a few, Danny? All right, Pamela Les says the Serenity Prayer. It really helps. Yoga and hiking. All good practices for staying sober and serene in the holidays. Megzy says church and service. Thank you for that, Megzy. Akron Sober Living House. Our brothers down the street said, absolutely, we need a spiritual program of recovery to give us the courage to walk through our natural fear. Amen to that. Christy says, being okay with just being okay. Yeah, pretty profound, isn't it? Find joy in the little things. Sally says, meditation, gratitude list, volunteer work, helping other addicts that struggle. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you all for all of that. Keep dropping them in the comments so others can glean from your experience, strength, and hope. And here's the deal, y'all. Some of y'all probably forgot or thought we forgot about doing celebrations, didn't you? But the truth is, we did forget. And by we, I mean I forgot. It was totally me. Lou forgot too. It's Lou's fault. Y'all, I just slipped. I got so excited about Advent, we forgot to celebrate together. So we're going to celebrate together now. And when we celebrate together, it means you give us the good stuff, the joy in life, the good things you're experiencing, the sobriety dates, birthdays, new jobs, babies, grandbabies, whatever it is, give the good stuff. We want to celebrate together. So drop them in the comments. Let us celebrate with you. And we will come back in 2 minutes. Let's celebrate. Celebrations. All right.
Secret is I just smile and say follow me. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Life's too short not to really live. I got a big heart, I can let you in. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. On top of the world. I'm sitting ask me what my secret is, I just smile and say, live for today. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the sun came up and I gotta say, see it in a whole new way. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Yeah. On top of the world. Yeah. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Yeah. On top of the world. Yeah. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Ask me what my secret is. On top of the world. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Ask me what my secret is. On top of the world. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sitting on top of the world, on top of the world.
There we are. All right, y'all. See, we did not forget about you. We want to celebrate together. It's one of the funnest parts of the evening. I can't believe I forgot that.
There's a lot of moving parts
A lot
tonight.
of moving parts today. So let's celebrate, shall we? You want to take it first?
He wants to celebrate that we remembered to celebrate.
That's a good one. We're
like
going to
it.
clap for that. Thank you, Lou. Oh, Pamela says, first paycheck since April arrived today. Way to go,
So
Pamela.
good. Awesome, Pam.
Celebrating that with you. So awesome.
From Megsy, 1 year free of amphetamines.
Way to go, Megsy. That's big stuff. Simon Meyer says, first solo
Woohoo.
skive today. Skydive today. That means she was jumping out of planes earlier today. So awesome, Simon. We're
cool.
celebrating that with you.
Mike, Thanksgiving with the grandkids.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yes, it is.
Christy says, enjoying spending time with my 4 kids with very little annoyance. We are appreciative of the little things.
We'll take
Thank you for sharing that with us, Christy.
it. Yeah. And good to have you here, Christy.
Did we stop clapping?
Oh,
We should have
no.
clapped.
Okay, we'll clap. Danny's like, woo, in the background for y'all. From Sterling, I started a new job at a glass recycling plant and moved apartments.
Way to go, Sterling.
Wow, very good.
Proud of you, dude. Kelly Epps says, if y'all didn't catch it on social media earlier this week, if you're not friends with her, they announced Steve and I are expecting, and we are due May of 2021.
May's a good month.
May is a good month.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. So
Congrats,
glad
guys.
you're part of this community.
From Cindy, Thanksgiving family time.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Good stuff, Cindy. Steven says, Mom getting adjusted to her home, fed herself this eve for the first time in 6 weeks.
Wow.
Sounds like a bit of new life. Thank you for sharing that with us, Steven. We're
Yeah.
celebrating that with you.
Thanks for being here, Stephen.
Yeah.
From Florida, yeah?
From Florida, I
Yeah.
believe. Yes.
From Gina. Gina got a new job. Feels more meaningful. That's
Way to go, Gina.
important stuff. Good. I feel like I saw Gina was moving. Did I see that?
Gina, are you moving?
Are you moving, Gina?
If you're moving, at least let us know.
I think she did.
All right. Amanda says, a beautiful Thanksgiving with my family. Good news. Thank you for sharing that
Yes,
with
Amanda.
us, Amanda. So many Thanksgiving offerings and celebrations.
Oh, so good. From Jennifer, I'm celebrating getting through Thanksgiving without drinking, and I had a craving. My sponsor talked me down off that ledge. Yes.
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Work till we work it. Glad you're still sober. Way to go. Sally is celebrating 5 days sober after a major relapse. Way to go, Sally. Keep doing it. 5 days is a long time.
So good.
And shall we
That's
stop
it.
there?
I think we're stopping.
All right, y'all. If you have more celebrations, drop them in. We want to keep celebrating with you. So drop them in the comments. Let this community in. And what I want to do is introduce you to our guest storyteller. Alix Glasgow is in the house. And you don't have to come up right yet because a little video is going to show of you first. Alix is in the house. She's going to share with us some of her recovery story. She's a mom. She's a wife. Y'all saw her husband earlier lighting the candle. He did a great job lighting that candle, didn't he? Way to go, Clint. Wherever he is. I don't know where Clint is. Did I mention she's in recovery? She's going to share some of her recovery story with us. I can't wait for you all to hear it. And she's going to give us some tools on how she's experienced things to work in her life with staying sober and serene during the holidays, because this is week 1 of Sober and Serene during the holidays. So y'all help me welcome Alix up to the table. She's coming, y'all. She had to grab her water. All right. Alix,
Brian.
I'm so glad you're here and y'all are part of this community.
I'm glad to be here.
And you're going to share some of your story with us tonight. So Alix has been 3 years sober, right?
Yes.
3 years sober. So I just want them to know how I'm going to run this thing. I want them to hear some of your recovery story, then tell us some tools that we might be able to take home with us tonight to stay sober and serene during this time, because this season's a little crazier than past seasons. I mean, I know the holiday season is always dicey, but this year it's even a little bit more dicey. So some tools, and then where's the hope?
Yeah.
Where's the hope? So there it is. I'm going to
Awesome.
toss it to you.
Thank you, sir. Super grateful to be here, guys, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and everyone, the 2 people that are here with us. And no, but I've been sober for 3 years, for 3 solid years. And I say it like that because that wasn't my first rodeo. And I have been sober from alcohol for, it'll be almost 10 years in January, but I wasn't ever completely sober from drugs. And so marijuana is a big part of my story. And I mean, I think the biggest component for me that was just really difficult was, I think we all can relate that there's a hole that a lot of us experience in our life, and we're just constantly trying to fill the hole, the void.
Yeah.
And so I just constantly did that with alcohol, and then again with marijuana. So that was a big piece. My little man is going to join me now, I guess.
He's like a comfort blanket.
Yeah,
You going to
he
help
is.
Mom out?
He loves his mama. He's mama's boy. But so I used I used drugs and alcohol to fill the void, because I was a mom and a woman that was carrying a lot of different hats. And I feel like, I was the mom, I was the sister, I was the spouse, I was the caretaker, I was the coworker, all the things. Now I'm the teacher. This thing spins.
Yeah, I meant to warn
Don't
you
let
about
go, or you're gonna fully spin.
that. There's a message in that that you preach next week.
Okay. Ooh, we could have some fun on that. Anyway, but so I was using. At the end of the day, my whole goal and purpose was to have something for myself, right? Something that I deserved. So I would just use that as an excuse. It's totally normal to drink yourself into oblivion. I had done all of these things all day long. It's totally normal to, be hiding wine bottles in the closet from your husband. You want what? This way? Oh, well, I don't know. Hey, can you go see your daddy for a minute? I don't know if he'll get out. Sorry, we'll try.
Maybe a staple here.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah. Sorry.
So will you help
Technical
people?
difficulties.
Will you help people understand a little bit about when you say, and I know you're being sarcastic, like totally normal to do these things. We know it's not normal, but what void is it filling, or what was it doing for you? And I think it's important for people to understand, like, well, why can't she just put it down? I mean, why would she do it? She had kids. She had a good life. Why couldn't she just put it down?
Yeah. Because I wasn't doing the work that needed to be done to heal myself. I, you know, and I'm not gonna, we all have a sob story. I think every single person that's watching can say that they have something that's gone on in their life, you know, that would cause just to feel lesser than. And instead of coping with it and going through the motions and actually feeling the emotion that needed to be felt, which I think is so important, I would cope by drinking. I would coat, right? And then I didn't have to deal with what was going on. So that was the key for me.
So, to the healing, what did healing look like? Because you said you weren't doing the work to get the healing.
Yeah.
So what does the being made well look like?
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting, right?
Oh yeah. You know, it is doing work. And that's hard because that means you have to look inside. Any person that is in recovery, I think most people would say that, and you said it earlier, right? Like you went into the rooms and you're like, just help me stop drinking. I just want to stop drinking and then all will be better in the world.
Yeah.
And so I stopped drinking, and guess what? Not everything was better. Things were better, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there was still lots of work to be done.
Yeah.
And that's where the healing truly began. And so in the beginning, yes, I got sober, and I say that in quotes because, like I said, I wasn't completely off of alcohol. I was still using other things.
You were completely off alcohol.
I was completely off alcohol. I was
okay.
just using other things.
Right.
Yeah. To cope, to still fill the void, to not have to do the work that was needed behind why I was using things in the first place.
So what's life like today? So you don't have to fill the void anymore with substances. What's that mean for today? How's life different?
The serenity that you feel when you really get to do the work that's needed to heal your soul. That means that I get to wake up every day and with a grateful heart and a grateful presence. The biggest piece, and this will always get me emotional, is that I get to be present for my kids. Because I wasn't present for them for a long time. And that'll forever be my gratefulness, my heart, my, you know, and that, you know, what I used to do with going in and doing all the things and wanting to just use and abuse so that I could, you know, just get them to bed quickly so I could drink more and all those things. Now I just get to be, and what a peaceful place that I get.
Yeah.
It's peace.
Yeah.
It's serenity.
Okay, so speaking of peace and serenity.
Yes.
So the holidays come along.
Yep.
As they do every year.
Yes, they do.
Well, we don't skip them. They come every year.
Even in COVID 2020, guys,
That's right.
we're doing
That's
this.
exactly
the holidays
right.
are coming.
The holidays come. You say you have peace, but the holidays come along because family's around, or this year maybe not. Maybe it's the opposite problem. Family's not around. I mean, I can't tell you all the number of people I talked to this week who were distraught over not being able to see family, not being able to travel. And so it throws us off a little bit, throws us out of routine. It adds to the already growing problem. How does Alix experience not just not picking up a drink? I mean, that's important, but to keep your serenity, to keep this peace that comes over us and says, no, we don't have to get involved in all the mess. We don't have to control things. What's it look like?
First and foremost, there's lots of prayer. And prayers look different every day. You know, it can be a simple prayer in the morning saying, you know, God or my higher power, please guide me and guide my thinking today. And that trickles over into everything, right? Like, what are you going to do when you go to Target? Like, are you going to allow the lady that pushes in front of you in the line to like steal your serenity that day? Or not, right? So that's what I'm asking for, is help me to be serene all day. And then at night, it's thanking my higher power. It's thanking God for showing up that day and allowing me to see his lead, right? Because that is such a key piece of number 2. I am not in control. I like to be in control. But if I'm in control, then I'm not allowing God to lead my life. So that is such a crucial piece for me right now, and to stay serene during the holidays. Setting up boundaries,
Oh, big one.
right?
Yeah, we might talk about this more next week.
Yeah.
But
So-
give us a good word.
Right. So,
By the way, can I interrupt you one moment?
Yeah.
Because it's stunning to me that when I got into the rooms, the 12-step rooms, and people would talk about prayer, and I was a pastor at the time. I mean, I was in the church. I thought, there's no way you do that every day. There's no way you start every day with like turning it over to God. I honestly thought people are just lying. They're just trying to look good here. No, there's like, it's how we stay sober.
Yeah.
There's people that actually do this and it works. I mean, my sponsor would tell me every day when I get up, I hit my knees hit the floor. First thing, I'm like, oh, come on. Yeah, that's a pretty phrase. You don't really. No, he really does. I believe he really does that. His life reflects it. Your life reflects it. Sorry, I just had to point that out. Not everyone's lying when they talk about prayer.
well, listen, as addicts and alcoholics, we certainly have said plenty of prayers of like, please just get me out of the circumstance and I'll
Yeah.
never do it again, right? Like,
Yeah.
the least we can do is say, hey, hey, God, let's lead my life today.
Yeah.
So,
And at the end of the day,
yes.
by the way, thanks
thinking.
God.
Yeah.
Thanks God.
Yeah.
This wasn't me, this was you.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. Boundaries are hard. And if you guys are going to get into it more, I don't need to go all the
No,
way.
go
but
deep.
Boundaries
Tweet
are
that.
hard.
Boundaries are hard.
You know, families are hard. You know, but let me tell you, when you set up that specific boundary and you follow through with that boundary, you are going to find a place of peace for yourself. And sometimes that means the boundary may be like, I can't be with these people. And I know that might be hard for people to understand or hear. And if you're in early sobriety, that might be really hard. I get that. But if at the end of the day, it's your peace and serenity or hanging out with people that don't serve you, you need to pick the peace and serenity for yourself.
Now, what if it's family, though?
Same thing.
Yeah. And that's the question we get, right? Well, yeah,
Right.
but it's my family. They always push my buttons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they installed those buttons. They know how to push them.
Yeah, they know the big red one.
But it doesn't mean you have to do all day.
No.
Maybe it's 2 hours. Maybe it's an hour. Maybe
Yeah.
those boundaries are so important.
Yeah, boundaries are, and they're easier said than done, right? But that's where you need to work with your sponsor, and help that person or reach to that person to have them help you reach your boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Or
be
help you set up the boundaries.
Yeah, and then to be accountable to those boundaries.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I know is hard, but let me tell you, I've had to do that a lot in the last few years, and with family, with specific family members that push the buttons, that created the buttons and pushed the buttons and continue to push the buttons, but that's okay.
She's going to tag y'all in the comments later tonight.
I'll let
No,
you-
don't do that.
yeah.
Don't do that.
But when the boundary is set and then you follow through with it, there's a sense of relief and there's
Yeah.
a sense of freedom, and then that leads to that peace, right?
Yeah, and it's paradoxical thinking. It's like backwards thinking. Well, if I set these, that's going to make me uncomfortable. That's going to be uncomfortable, and it might at the beginning, but it brings freedom and peace with it.
Right. Right.
All right, Alix, tell us. Let's close with this. Where's the hope? So here we are. We're just starting the holiday season. Thanksgiving was Thursday. It's Saturday.
Yeah.
Where's the hope?
Yeah. The hope, one thing I want to be very clear for anybody that's struggling or maybe you're home right now and you're planning your relapse, because I know that's part of what we do. Please know you're not alone. Even in this crazy season, even in 2020, there is always a solution, and that is reaching out to others, relying on your higher power, prayer, getting on your knees, knowing in your heart that you're not alone, reaching out to another person within the program, going to a meeting. I know that can be hard. If you don't want to leave your house, get on a Zoom. There's no reason, and I can just tell you that there's not one iota of you is going to be better if you go and you use or drink whatever that plan is, or if you're even contemplating it. I think that's the biggest piece. and relying on your higher power. So,
Thank you for that, Alex. And I want to echo that for this community, because you might be watching right now and planning your relapse. You might just be barely hanging on. And so I want to ask, if you're watching, and that's you, do something bold. And I promise you, if you put that in the comments, I'm struggling. You don't have to tell us your plan. I'm struggling. I promise you there are people in this community who will reach out to you. And I know Alix is one who would be willing to talk to you. I think I'm right in saying this.
yes.
Okay. Glad you didn't say no. She'd be willing to talk to you. Connect with her in the comments. She's a mom.
I'm here.
A wife. She's by the start. She's an entrepreneur. She does health stuff in the world and
Yes.
coaches other people
Yes.
to stay healthy. So, you want to say anything about that before you leave? Just the importance of
Yeah,
being
I
healthy.
mean, yeah, I am a health coach. It's a beautiful thing. If I hadn't been ever come to these meetings and reached out and gotten sober, it would never have led me to where I'm at today. It goes to the promises. If you don't know what those are, ask an alcoholic.
Call
me.
Alix.
I'll let you
She's
know.
going to put her number in the
I'm gonna-
comments.
Yeah, put them in the comments. No, and you know, it could be health that goes in all different realms. I can just tell you that as you get sober, you're going to start to see healthy actions start to fall into your life. What I have to encourage our newly sober friends is just get sober. Sobriety has to come first. I had to learn that the hard way, because I got sober and you're like, woo! And I was like, let's do all the things, and then wonder why I was falling on my face constantly. So, you know, it could just be as simple as drink more water, right? Like, get into action with, you know, but with something that can just improve your health a little bit. But it's got to be one day at a time, regardless.
One
So,
day at a time.
yeah, sobriety has to come first.
Well, hey, if you guys want to connect with Alix more, honestly, she'll be on the thread. She'll connect with you there. If you've got questions for her, comments, drop them in, and she'll connect with you there. Alix, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
So
for
glad you're
having
here.
Me. This is awesome. Yeah.
Glad y'all are here too. Thank you for being part of this community and being willing to share your story.
Yeah.
And kicking us off in this season of Advent.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, we are going to jump into. We're going to get into heartaches. And I know we just finished celebrations, but we do both around here. And we do both because we believe God joins with us in the celebrating and in the hard stuff in life, the carrying the burdens. And we don't do that alone. As y'all know, here at Free, we carry these burdens together. We have a prayer team here that prays for you throughout the week, that connects with you throughout the week. And we believe in lifting one another up and encouraging one another. So I want you to just take a moment, and by a moment I mean 2 minutes, and drop in your heartaches, the things you're struggling with, the burdens you're carrying. And I know it feels vulnerable. And that's okay. That's okay, because in your vulnerability, other people are coming into your story and they're lifting you up. They're encouraging you. They're praying for you. So drop them in, take 2 minutes. Give us the burdens. All right. Yeah, we're gonna sit. We are gonna
Ah,
sit
okay.
tonight because I'm comfy.
Ah,
All right, y'all.
wanna
Shall we
set this
start with
down.
some? There you go. All right. You want to start?
sure. From Christy, I want to pray for anyone struggling. We can help share and hold you.
Thank
Thanks,
you for
Christy.
that, Christy. Yeah.
There's a ton of people in this community that feel the same way, so thanks for that.
Absolutely. Amanda says, pray for my daughter AJ and her husband Dan, whose father is in hospice. Prayers for AJ and Dan. Thank you for lifting them up, Amanda.
Yes. From Doug, need the courage to change the things I can.
Yeah. Change the things you can. Sounds like the Serenity Prayer.
It does, doesn't it?
Sally says, 1,200 miles away from my family in Colorado is hard, especially home for Thanksgiving because of COVID. Try my best to be okay on my own in the PNW. What is the PNW?
Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest. I was just seeing if y'all knew that. Thank you, Sally, for sharing that with us. Prayers for you.
From Monty, prayers for Old Cole and his family. Biopsy results Monday on his tumor. Okay. Prayers, MJ.
Prayers from, yeah. Cindy says, prayers for those who have lost hope. There is a solution. Thank you, Alix, for carrying that message.
Yes, thank
yes,
you,
there is a
Alix.
solution. Thank you for lifting that up, Cindy. Yep, prayers for Cole and his
Yep.
family. We got that one. Thank you, MJ.
Rich, I'm sad today as a good friend of mine in the program lost his battle to cancer and passed on Thanksgiving. Oh, what a rough day. He showed me that this was God's will, and no matter what happens in life, we don't pick up, as that won't fix any problem. I miss him already. I'm certain you do. Sorry, Rich.
Thanks for sharing that with us, Rich. Gina says, my friend Mike went to heaven, but I'm glad he didn't suffer long.
Sorry,
Prayers
Gina.
for you, Gina, and the family and those who are grieving his loss. Thank you for lifting him up.
Saman, prayers for the still suffering during this year and the holiday season. Yeah.
Lots of people, yes. Thank you, Sman. And Sally also has a second one. Also, my hometown, Memphis, lost a beloved person 2 days before Thanksgiving. Heartbroken, so many. Thank you for lifting that up, Sally. Prayers for all those grieving during a difficult time for many in our country, many in the world. So we do this work together, y'all. We do this. We carry the burdens together. We lift these things up together. And I do want to remind you, we are the wagon together. When you fall off the wagon, if you fall off the wagon, and I'm not just talking about picking up a drink or using, that may be it. But if you fall off the wagon of life, here in this community, we believe in, we try to practice the act of picking one another up, stopping the wagon, picking one another up, helping people back on, because like I said, we do this together. One of the ways we do this together is on the wagon, which is a central image in this community. If you don't know the story of the wagon, it's been a while since I've shared it. I'm going to share it next week. How's that? You can get on the website, it's on there, or get on our app. You can read the story of why the wagon is a central image here. But on the wagon in this community, we have a donation box, and we have donation boxes throughout, free. But your generous giving, and seriously, we mean this when we say this, you're giving in this community, and we get that for many of you, it is a spiritual practice. And it's one we're grateful for. It helps this ministry thrive. It helps carry forward the mission, which is to create space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. For who? Addicts, loved ones of addicts, and spiritual refugees. So, there's 3 ways to give in this community. Or you can simply download the app. It's free, and you can do your giving there. You can do it weekly, one time, monthly, bi-monthly, however you want to do it. Or you can go to the website, freespiritualcommunity.com, and you can give there in the same way. Or simply text the number on your screen. Text Be the Wagon, and it will walk you through instructions, and it does help grow the mission here at Free to create space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. All right, y'all, so good to be with you tonight. I was telling a couple of people in here when we were on our little break that, man, sometimes things happen, and it's outside of your control, and we get to roll with it. We don't get to control everything. Sometimes we need these reminders like internet breakage. I don't know what's going on with the internet. We have internet here. We pay for it. I don't know what's happening. But we had some problems tonight outside of our control. And you know what? We can't control everything. We get to still roll in life, and it's a good thing. My brothers and sisters, do you want to be made well? Yeah, it's a good question to ask during this holiday season. Let's go out with a bit of prayer, shall we? I encourage you to open your hands, palms up. It's a sign of openness. It's a sign of letting God in. It's a sign of saying, God, we actually need you. And we will go out with the Serenity prayer. If you don't know it, it's on your screen, and it goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. This week, my brothers and sisters, my free brothers and sisters, may you experience grace and peace scattered with a bit of hope. We'll see you next time.